Today we need to talk about Jung Kook saying he doesn't deserve his praise. We need to talk about V and an actress dating rumor and what that's about. And then we need to get into HYBE's revenue changes. So hey dumplings, it's Dave. Decide hate it or not, make sure you subscribe to it with the notification bell on. Grab your dumpling, tastefully mug merch, and let's go. It was recently reported by Billboard and many different sites that HYBE has had their revenue increase by as much as 21% for this year. Now, why is this a big deal and why should you care? A lot of the increases actually are directly tied to the newer acts like New Jeans, LE SSERAFIM, TXT, and then of course BTS members' solo stuff. It was believed a long time ago that once BTS goes to the military or goes solo, the company would essentially fail since they were heavily relying on BTS for their income. BTS made up at one point in the beginning all of their revenue, and then eventually they expanded and it became half. And then I believe in the recent months leading up to Jin's enlistment, it was still big and floating around 30 or 40%. Many people were talking about how investors would pull out of HYBE stock when BTS starts enlisting, and it goes to show that even without BTS, HYBE is just as strong as ever. HYBE did a really smart thing but diversified as soon as they had the means to, and before BTS started to enlist. Because if they realized that a couple of the groups outside of BTS were failing before BTS enlisted, they could take the money and do something else with it so HYBE can stay afloat or simply take the loss. BTS did so many things that actually doesn't require BTS to actually be active for HYBE to make money. For example, in Times Square, New York, they have a line store, which is literally a BTS store. So that continues to make money regardless of whether BTS remains active or not. And it goes to show solo members like Jimin and Suga are more than capable of bringing in as much money as BTS did, and there is no real concern about whether the group and the members are going to remain relevant after the military. And so many people are so obsessed with getting BTS and BTS members famous that they completely forget that the most important thing in the industry and any industry is sales. So as long as the music sells, the concert tickets sell, and albums sell, the artist will remain relevant, because the moment the label or radio or any company sees that the artist is selling, they will put the artist on TV to sell more, because there's proof that the artist is marketable. So you have a bunch of artists that will sell enough but never really reach a mainstream success, and people wonder how the label keeps them around. It's because they make enough to break even or a little profit, and so the label keeps them around. But if they made the label a lot more money, you'd soon see the label buy out billboards and TV placement for them. And that's how you remain relevant. HYBE has also talked about streaming on Spotify to say that they occupy 3% of the top 200 streamed songs on Spotify, which I interpret to mean that at any point you look at the top 200, there'll be at least around 6 songs on there. And that is very important as it marks a new era where we see K-pop becoming a lot more mainstream in the US. We'll start to see it get mixed in with American music, a lot of which we are already starting to see. And this is just a huge step forward for the industry. We are seeing amazing acts like Jung Kook join in on the American takeover, and he has been everywhere recently, ranging from banger features to, of course, his own album taking on a huge life of its own. The album is titled Golden, and if you've been following BTS for a little bit, you know that Jung Kook has always been called a very special nickname. He goes by the name Golden Maknae, and this means the youngest member of the group. And there's a bit of a stigma or stereotype with that title. The youngest member is usually the most well-liked, and people love to say Hollywood has an obsession with youth, but Hollywood would not care if it wasn't for us, the viewers, having said obsession, because if it doesn't sell, Hollywood would not be pushing it. So I think we all have this obsession and this jealousy about people who are younger and very talented. So the youngest member of any group has a lot of pressure to be amazing because they have all the eyeballs on them. Jungkook is not only a great dancer, singer, actor, painter, problem solver, athletic, model, and the list goes on. He is also very kind and a great role model. This of course means he has well earned a well-deserved title of Golden Maknae. So this makes sense, and it is a reason most people believe as to why he titled his album Golden. When asked during an interview how Jungkook feels about this title, because it's obviously a lot of pressure to maintain it, but also you have to be a bit self-centered to see yourself as perfect, right? Most of us are aware we have flaws, and most of us, I would imagine, even if we're famous and super rich, would be aware that we're just human beings. If all of us woke up tomorrow and started to get on their path to being really successful, famous, and rich, you'd be there every step of the way being there and seeing yourself go through the good, ugly, and bad, as well as seeing your friends and colleagues go through the same thing, you start to realize it's not as glamorous as it may seem, and thus you could feel like what you're doing is not as special because a lot of successful people truly believe everyone else can do what they do. That's why a lot of them go into teaching. Jung Kook explained he actually doesn't like the title Golden Boy, and actually very grateful to be called Golden Boy or Global Pop Star, but of course also super embarrassed, maybe feeling a bit like he's undeserving, which, as I just mentioned, is quite understandable. If you're a human being, it can be a lot for one person to take in, to think about how much of an impact they have. I would personally have a panic attack every night if I had to think about the fact that if I underperform tomorrow or get into a scandal tomorrow, 500 people could be out of a job and have no way to support their family. And then also 300 million people are going to be sending me death threats or trying to leak my address to kill me. However, this is the reality of a celebrity and could not only be a reason he could be scared, but be embarrassed over feeling like there's a lot of eyeballs judging him at any time. There's not only a lot of judgment at any given time online, but there's a butt ton of speculation, rumors, and even now idols have to worry about AI and that potentially making them look really bad. There's been a significant increase in AI, and I can understand the appeal of that. If you're someone who really enjoys fantasizing about a certain member with another person, like romantically, AI could be a great way to scratch that itch. You can literally go on Google and see several extremely well-edited photos by ARMY of people who they want to be dating, like Lisa and Jung Kook, and those types of edits. However, it's important to clarify the realness of it, especially now with AI looking so realistic and literally being able to create images that are literally brand new. So if you ask AI to generate Jung Kook in the park with Lisa, it can generate a completely new image with a face that hasn't existed in an already existing photo, but then also the AI can animate it, which makes it seem all the more real. Recently, AI videos of V and actress Song Hye-kyo were posted together by a netizen, and people were shocked at how real they looked, to the point where some were definitely thinking that V and the actress were dating, because it appeared they were at the same apartment, elevator, or wherever. This brought a lot of questions and people demanding that there should be some sort of law around random people using a celebrity and just deciding to do whatever they want with it. But before we get into that, I want to say, y'all see how ridiculous a dating scandal is, right? But pushing that the idol shouldn't date or people being upset when they do, it's literally causing them to get into scandal for doing nothing, because it's literally so easy to get them into a scandal, editing some photo and suddenly a huge scandal. Now we have AI and it's going to be even easier. There definitely should be some sort of copyright when it comes to AI creations, or at least Photoshop and these AI services should only be able to generate images that look fake. So if it involves someone's face, the face should come out cartoony. Everything else can appear real if you're editing someone out or editing a cup in, but actual faces should not look this real. This, coupled with the fact that AI voices sound so real as well, it's going to be very easy for an artist to get into a scandal. However, it may also make it easier for an artist to get out of a scandal if they can simply just say that the person everyone saw that was doing a bad thing was AI and not the real them. I thought it was very interesting that all the comments and news sites keep talking about privacy and that these AI videos are invading the privacy of the idol. I'm not sure how privacy is the concern, and if I'm wrong, please tell me, but if the AI shows a home or anything private, it would likely be fake, as those things don't publicly exist on the internet, and then using a celebrity's face for a video does not invade their privacy. It doesn't leak their personal information or put their physical safety at risk. And every time these situations or these types of odd things come out, people always say the idol's privacy. Even when people did AI versions of songs, it's like, think of the idol's privacy. But I personally do not think this is an actual concern that needs to be a concern. Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out Patreon for more videos. Link down below. Thanks for this lovely comment right here. Love you. Bye.